happening, beautiful people? Welcome to the Mrs. Best Reviews channel. We are here to do our weekly live recap of 90 Day Fiancé. This week, we are recapping season 12, episode 3. This episode was titled, I Manifested You. We are going to get into everything that happened with this episode. I am back in town, beautiful people, and I did get sick. I absolutely am sick. I am shivering. I'm pretty sure I might have a fever. My throat hurts. My voice is going away. So just bear with me. I'm not surprised. It was 90 degrees and raining in New Orleans with thunder and lightning, severe flood watch, severe thunderstorms, severe weather alerts. And then I came back to California and it's only 60 degrees with really cold sea breezes. So my body is like, what in the actual, you know what, have you done? And my immune system is trying to figure itself out. So just bear with me because it does hurt to talk. I had a time, but it does hurt to talk. I'm not feeling the greatest. But let's welcome in Shani, my Gemini twin. Her birthday is next. A big happy birthday to all of the Geminis. Our season is here. And a big happy birthday to everybody whose birthday's in May as well. Lord, I just wish it was a little warmer in California. It's cold as hell. But welcome in, Shani. Thank you for welcoming me back. And thank you for the birthday wishes as well. Thank you to all of you guys. I got a lot of birthday wishes from YouTube to TikTok to social media to in person, the text, everybody who wished me a happy birthday. I appreciate you so much. I am now 34. So thank you, thank you, thank you. Shani said, did you have a good time despite the rain? Oh yeah, even with the rain, we still had a time and it was kind of on and off. The only time I felt cold in the rain, it had like stormed on us really bad when I went on a swamp tour. I went through the cypress swamps and it started storming super bad. And then there was like this weird ass, like, it was like for 2 minutes, it got cold as shit. I don't know what that was about, but my family was laughing at me. My family's from New Orleans. They're like, yeah, that's normal, baby. And I'm just like, I'm from California. Okay. It'd be cold in the winter, hot in the summer, in between in the spring, and pretty in the fall. Okay. I don't do snow. I don't do hurricanes, but I did have a great time. New Orleans is beautiful. And I do encourage everybody to go there, especially if you want to come back gaining 5 pounds like I did. Okay. But let's get into 90 Day Fiancé because these people were absolutely kooky. Also, see the links in the description of this video. As always, there are links to other creators who are absolutely wonderful that I encourage you all to tap in with. We're going to start this episode discussing Mallory and Rashid. I hope I'm saying his name correctly. They are still in Turkey. And I'm not even going to lie, y'all. I forgot all about these people. I forgot. What was there to remember? I forgot. They gave them to us one episode and we didn't get them in the second. And not much had happened with them that first episode. But they are still in Turkey. She is going to go meet his friends because he's going to be moving away from Turkey to move to Alabama with her. I think that's selfish of her. You live in Alabama, no shade, ain't nothing there, baby. I would be willing to go to Turkey. That man live on the water, is beautiful. The food is better. I would be willing to go there, but you know, to each his own, to each his own. But she's talking with his friends and he is telling his friends that he has concerns about moving to Alabama with her because she has like this unhealthy relationship with her friend Brandon. He's like, it's her ex. He doesn't like the fact that they are still friends. And basically, Mallory explains to us some things. So I guess she says that Brandon is not really, he is a friend, but she describes him as a friend with benefits, not an ex. It's so dark in here, y'all. I was sitting in the dark because I don't feel good. But I guess Brandon and Mallory have seen each other naked and he's been up inside of her and things of that nature. Rashid does not like that his female is friends with her. He's Turkish, he's Muslim. Like he says in his culture, it's not common for women and men to be friends, which I can understand. There is a such thing as cultural differences. But Mallory explains that she's not willing to give up her friendship with Brandon. And I was like, what? Why? Why is she just okay to risk a relationship? But she explains she was in a really bad car wreck. Her life was a mess. She said she had to have some of her intestines removed. She was in the hospital for an extremely long time. Looks like she was lucky to be alive. And Brandon was a friend that took care of her dogs. He stepped up. She says she didn't have to ask him anything, and he basically was truly there for her. I can understand why you would not want to end a friendship with somebody who supported you through a life or death situation and why you healed. That part I can absolutely understand. But I think she needs to explain to the receipt the way she explained to us her reasoning for wanting to keep the friendship. But later on, we see her go and meet with the family, her and Receipt, because the family, he's going to be leaving. He's leaving behind his mother, his sister. He's got brothers, uncles. He's got a big family, and they all look the same. But his family and him are struggling with the fact he's going to leave. He gives us a background of the fact that like a big earthquake happened and his family was living in tents. So they've had to work really hard to get back, you know, their housing, like just to be self-sufficient again, which I could totally understand. And the family has her drink some nasty ass salted fermented drink, which is supposed to be like, if he can deal with the drink, that I guess he'll be able to survive the relationship and the marriage. And it's something they traditionally do, he says, in Turkey when someone gets married. But because his family won't be able to attend the wedding because they have to get married within 90 days for the visa, it looks like the family is celebrating early. Now, eventually they separate, which is common in Islam for those who are like, why did they separate the women and men? I did grow up Muslim. That is common for them to separate the boys from the girls. And he's talking with the men, and he has a big concern about not having income. He basically says that because of the visa, he's not going to be able to work for the first few months that he's out there, like 6 to 8 months. The reason is he's going to have to apply for a work visa, and that takes time as well. So in Turkey, he says culturally, he has a requirement to financially take care of his family. And the fact that his family went through that natural disaster as well adds to it, which I can understand. But he has not told Mallory of this financial responsibility, and she's the one that's going to be covering it. And I'm kind of like, if your family's so important to you, why would you not tell her ahead of time what's going on? Why would you wait till the last freaking moment to tell her anything? So he says goodbye to his family, and everybody's crying. He's going through it, and he, in the car on the way to the airport, he's talking to Mallory about helping his mother and his family financially. And Mallory's telling the camera that she pretty much feels blindsided by the situation, which I could totally understand why she would feel blindsided, but she totally feels blindsided by the situation because she's like, why would you not tell me that up front? She also reminds him of the basic things that us as just adults in every country have. She says she got her mortgage. Shout out to you for having a mortgage so young. Go you. But she says she got her mortgage. She has her car payment, her car insurance. She got to pay, if she has a mortgage, her water, her gas, her heat, electric, all those things. She got to pay for food. And she says she don't make a lot of money, which I believe because she's living in the sticks somewhere. She's like, she basically feels like a lot of people think that Americans just have all this money, which is true. I do think that a lot of people have the impression that Americans just make a lot of money. Just because someone, it's kind of like California. You come to California, you could flip a burger at McDonald's in the Bay Area and make $25 an hour with no experience. But you're not going to be able to afford an apartment on your own with that. Like, it looks like a lot, but it really isn't. She is in America. Her dollar's worth a lot more than Turkey, but she's in a state where the economy is one of the worst out of all of our 50 states. I believe Alabama, Mississippi, Louisiana have some of the worst economies in our states. So it's like, to someone on the outside looking in, it might look a certain way, but she don't got it like that. I promise she doesn't. She's probably just responsible, keeps up with her credit, pays her bills. She's explaining the budget to him, and he still has the expectation that she take care of his family. He pissed me off with that, because how dare you expect this girl to help the family? He said to her at one point, I think it's bullshit. She's like, no, I have just enough for me. When my check comes, it's all gone. I feel you, girl. Mine too. And He's thinking that she's bullshitting so she don't have to pay them, but now she has an extra mouth to feed in you. So why is she going to feed 4 extra mouths in another country? I saw that he had uncles and brothers. I'm sure they can get a job and take care of themselves. What if you never met her? What if you would have stayed in Turkey? They could take care of themselves, cultural difference or not. So I didn't understand all of that, but I think that the cultural differences are going to be a barrier for them. I also feel like he is stubborn, because if someone is telling you, I don't think I'll be able to do something, and you're telling them at the last minute, accept what you get. And if you really gave a damn about your family, you would have said something to her ahead of time, because maybe then she could have prioritized or budgeted something in. I said, my God, but that's all we see with them. Let me get the comments, y'all. They got on my nerves. They got on my nerves. Kiwan said, welcome back, Thug and Thugettes in the chat. Thank you, Kiwan. Support the channel, like, comment, and subscribe. I do appreciate that. It does help us if you guys like the video or leave a comment. Thousands of appreciations. And shout out to the replay gang as well. Don't be afraid to leave a comment. Don't be afraid. Shani said, I went to Turkey a few years ago. I for sure would have stayed there than Alabama. Right. And he's on the water. You guys remember before the 90 days, Birkan, wherever he was at, was nothing compared to where Rasit lives. Shani said, I'm still cool with my diverginator. Oh, my Lord. And nothing happened between us in decades. Right. Sometimes you could be cool with people. Ain't nothing wrong with it. I don't have to ask you, and you willing to take care of my house and my dogs. Right. While she was healing, like, we are cool forever. That's a big deal. Those are the moments where you really find out who your friends are. And it sounds like they haven't slept together since then. So I personally did not see the problem. I did not see the problem. Shani says she needs to sit down with her fiance and her best friend and explain the situation like that. That's the truth. That is the truth. Shani also said, I didn't get a chance to finish the episode as usual, but what does she expect for him to do for money when he gets up there? So when they get the visa, sometimes they're not always able to get their work visa as fast. So that's why to apply for the K1 visa, I believe Laura explained it in 90 Day Fiancé, you have to have like $10,000 to sponsor the person to come. Because if you do your paycheck, I believe like the minimum wage at most places for a couple months is about $10,000. So that's probably why she has to financially sponsor him until he's able to work. It's a fact. He was a part of the visa process, so understands that. So I felt like he was trying to be mad pushy on her to take care of his obligation. I understand that's how it is in Turkey, sir, but just wait the couple of months. I don't understand why he wouldn't wait. I'm happy to see that you are doing good, Kiwan. Happy Monday to you, boo. I'm forgetting this Memorial Day, so y'all not at work. Happy Memorial Day to anybody who served, the family of anybody who served in this fucked up country. Happy Memorial Day. I really do respect people who do stuff like that, especially when the military and the armed forces really have to follow the buffoons that is our government. So I respect those people. But happy Memorial Day. I hope people who barbecue are eating some good ass barbecue. I really hope y'all are enjoying that. I do. We're going to get into the next couple, y'all, which is Debbie and Mido. I don't like that this man has the name of a dog tag. I just remember when you go on Petco's, you see the little Fido machine to make the dog tags. That's all I think about when I see Mido's name. But Debbie is in New Orleans. And the last she talked to Mido, he was giving her hell. And there's so many red flags in this relationship. But he was basically making it seem like he's not going to come out there, even though the government says when they give you a visa, either you come now or reapply, and you may not get reapproved. But he's been making it seem like he's not going to come out there because his father is sick, guilting Debbie, and he wanted to change his flight. She looked into changing his flight. And when she looked into changing his flight, she said that sucker told her it would have been $3,800 to change a flight. I said, damn. Y'all know Mrs. Best like to travel. I've had to change flights here and there. I've never had to pay that much to change a flight. And yes, I've had to change flights when leaving the country. If you're having to pay that much, that tells me you bought the cheapest ticket, the non-refundable, but you got to pay for a change. Be smart, y'all. I hate to sound like that old lady, but like, if you're going to travel, purchase the ticket that's refundable or purchase the ticket that you could change your flight on. Purchase travel insurance if you're able. Like, I do all of that. I don't know why people wouldn't, but I understand it's expensive and things like that. But she says she ain't got $4,000 and let him know that she can't afford to change the flight. And he responded, they showed the WhatsApp, it said no comment. The fuck is she supposed to do with that, Mido? No comment. I said he's starting to behave like them Egyptian men. Fun fact about Egypt. I used to really want to visit Egypt, but if you Google it, Egypt is one of the least recommended places by like travel influencers and stuff. And then Egypt is one of those places that people say they would never go back to if they had the chance to visit again. There's like popular YouTubers that do content out there. The government like took and stole some of his equipment. There's a lot of scams out there, and it's one of the most unsafe places in the world for women. They have one of the highest SA rates against women in the world. So when she told me this man was from there, and then a lot of what Debbie knows about Mido doesn't, like, tell me if y'all think I'm reaching, but a lot of the stuff that she knows about this man does not like align. One, she says that he is a famous Egyptian movie star, right? And has hundreds of thousands of followers, but they met when he was her tour guide through the pyramids. I highly doubt an Egyptian movie star has to work a second day job giving people tours through the pyramids. I promise y'all it's not like that. I promise y'all it's not like that. So I feel like Mido is kind of scamming his way through her and not really interested in her, especially with the fact that he got the Egyptian superstar that he's cool with and is willing to post, but he refuses to post Debbie at all. And Debbie does seem like a nice lady, so I do kind of worry about her. But this lady says she don't know if he's going to show up, but she's going to go off to the airport. She went to Louis Armstrong Airport, and she said, I'm going to have my daughter drive me in her Tesla, and I'm going to wait for this man that may not show up, that I have not heard from. Let me tell you this. A motherfucker that play with me, I can't change your flight and you respond no comment instead of I'm going to come or I'm not going to come. I wouldn't have went to that airport because fuck him. I would not have went to that airport. Communicate because we watched Debbie sit at the airport. We watched her throw up and then sit and cry at the airport for 2 hours before this man arrived. And then when he arrived, she was so excited to see him. He took his time getting to her and didn't show much excitement. Didn't understand it. Then he looked at her and pissed me off and said to her, you can touch me. No. Why the fuck did you say no comment? Why you wasn't texting me back letting me know if you was here or not? And production's like, oh, can you tell us why you wanted to surprise Debbie? He's like, I wanted to surprise her with my presence. She would have been excited either way. Like, I feel like he's doing the most. I don't really like this guy. His personality is icky. You could tell he has a nasty ego. And I feel like he took advantage of this nice, clear lady from New Orleans so that he could get to America. Because in his ignorant mindset, he probably thinks once he's in America, he's going to just blow up. Honestly, living in New Orleans, he might have a shot because they've been filming a lot of crime stuff in New Orleans. They've been filming a lot of movies. I've been seeing more and more stuff filmed around there. So he might have a shot. But I don't know. I just felt like he used her. Something about him rubs me wrong. Let me know how y'all feel about it, but I don't trust Mido. Now, we meet him in the confessional and he tries to do some acting. They're like, show us something. He sucks. If he was serious and that's what he thinks is acting, just go, let me go to the bush and weep. Okay. I do not take Mido seriously. I don't think he and Debbie are going to last. Let me know what y'all think. Let me know what the replay thinks, all of y'all, because I don't buy any of it. I just don't buy not any of it. Shani says, after the down payment, I'm paying for traveler's insurance on my vacations. That is right. That is right. It's the safest thing to do, especially if you're someone that leaves the country. When you're out of the country, you absolutely want to get traveler's insurance and all of those things, the medical, everything, because you never know what can happen. You never know what can happen. Insurance is the one bill I pay and one service I have that I hope I don't have to use. but it's better to have it than to have nothing at all. Shani said, and he won't tell her none of the movies that he has been in because she can't understand it because it's not in English. You knucklehead. Did you forget about subtitles? Right. Mido's full of it. And I don't understand. Like, Debbie sells insurance. Her job is to literally read legal documents over. How did she miss the red flags in the document that is Mido? Okay. It doesn't make any type of sense. It doesn't make any sense. I just don't like when people take advantage of other people either. That really bothers me. And people do this all over the world. This is not a dig at all at Mido, but that's like something that really bothers me, especially when people just want to find love. Like, don't take advantage of people who are just putting themselves out there and being vulnerable because they want companionship. Like, that's effed up. But I don't trust this fool so far. Shani said, I'm going to work, making my money at my 9 to 5. And I need to put on my glasses, y'all. I can't see. And if he called, he called. And he going to wait until I get off work if he don't call. Oh, well, let me put on these glasses because let me not be in y'all screen like an old lady because I can't see. The sad part, they were right next to me. Okay, there we go. I can see these things. It's okay to laugh at Mrs. Best. I laugh at myself as well. Shanny said, oh, snap, he did show up. I know you lying. He did not say, now you could touch me. He did. Versus we could touch each other. He was like, now you can touch me. And kind of looked at her. It was weird. He just kept looking at her like he's not that into her, but he gotta be to be, if that makes sense. Like, can't stand him. Right. I would have sent him back to Egypt too, Shanny. He must be a good actor because he convinced her that he is interested in her and wants her. I feel like she just wants a man. I feel like it might be a little more desperation than convincing. I just feel like she wants a man. And that's sad because some people want companionship so bad that they will put themselves into a situation that they know in their heart of hearts is not good or is not going to work, but they just want to have someone so they're not alone. Like, it's a sad thing, but a lot of people go through it. I wish people like Debbie the best. Why is it that 90 Day likes to get these older white women named Debbie that are loony? Y'all remember the other Debbie who was kissing llamas and alpacas and stuff, the animal lover? Y'all remember that other Debbie? 90 Day got some kooky Debbies. I'm trying to tell y'all, 90 Day will find a Debbie and she's going to be old, she's going to be white, and she's going to be kooky, but the sweetest thing ever. Because Debbie seems really kind and I do want her. I don't know why I got a soft spot for that clear lady, but I just hope Mido treats her right. I really do. But so far, I don't like his ass. I don't like him at all. We are going to get into Paula and Thomas. They are a new couple that was introduced to us this episode. Let me know how y'all feel about them in the comments, in the chat. Paula's 41. She is who we're introduced first. She's from Sao Paulo, Brazil, somewhere I've always wanted to visit. She owns a piercing company. She has her own company. And she tells us that she believes in the art and spirit of manifestation. I said, Amanda Francis, is that you? Money Queen? But in this case of manifestation, it looks like Paula follows it in kind of like a more spiritual form. She believes that the things that you want in life you could get through manifesting. And she has these like tiny things. It's like, let's say my cell phone, she would like order like a tiny version of it, almost like a charm that you would put on a Croc shoe. She orders tiny, what does she call it? Let me look at these notes. Tiny things, she calls them, which is just like action figures and shit that we would want or use in life that are tiny. I didn't quite understand it, but I always try to be respectful of other people's like spirituality and stuff, which it seems like it was a thing to her. But manifestation is pretty much her religion. And she says that she manifested a gringo, which is a white man, for those who do not know. And she then met Thomas, who is the guy that she is dating, who is a white boy from Long Beach, California, seems very active. They met at a volleyball thing while she was out there visiting. At first, they were friends because Paula had a boyfriend, but he was inclined to go to Brazil. He went to Brazil like, I have feelings for you. Are we going to be something? Do you want to try this out? And she told him, she was like, I have a boyfriend. She ends up breaking up with that boyfriend. Her and Thomas got together. Now they are engaged. They have been engaged for 2 years, but it looks like she's going to be coming to America, which is crazy, but it makes sense because I guess we may have a slightly better economy, but she has a business, an apartment. It seems like she has a pretty good life for herself in Brazil. So I'm kind of like, girl, you have an okay life and you still want to move, but she's going to be moving with him. We do learn that they're very different. So Thomas is a minimalist. I didn't understand why this fool had that tiny table that he eats at. He had like these weird blocks that went like between his ass cheeks or something. And then he like sat on his knees and ate at a tiny table. Why? You could be a minimalist with a full-size table. I just didn't understand it. We also learned that Paula is vegan. He eats meat. She collects tiny things and believes in magic, and he doesn't. He doesn't believe in all of that. He feels like she credits a lot to manifestation versus the work that he does. So we get to the day that she's going to be coming out there. He's cooking some tofu and beans for her. And he goes to the airport to give her this food, which I thought was extremely thoughtful, even though he burned that pan cooking that tofu. But she has a broken bag, and apparently it's broken because she packed and filled up a bunch of tiny things so that she could manifest a good life for them. I don't know how they're going to do. It seems like she has a lot of stuff and she's not like, she wants to feel welcome. She's very independent and she has a life that she could go back to. So I'm curious to see how this goes. I always love when 90 Day brings people on there who, even though they're from a different country, they're okay. So they don't have to leave. Like, I like when they bring people on like that versus people who seem shady or like they're using someone like Mido, because she's not going to put up with no bullshit because of a visa. If she got to go, I think that she will get gone. But I do feel like they're really different, and there's areas where both of them are not willing to budge. Curious to see how they'll navigate that. But that was pretty much all we got for the intro of Paula and Thomas this episode. Let me know, shout out to the replay gang, how you guys feel about Paula and Thomas, because at first I was like, this is cute, this could work, but then I feel like the living together is going to be the hard part. It's real easy to have a boyfriend or a girlfriend or whatever the fuck, but when you move in with people, that's when you really find out if like you're going to be able to make it, because you can't just live with everybody. Even if you want to, you can't just live with everybody. But let's get the comments before we move on to our next couple. Shetty said, kissing an alpaca, they spit at you. Ew. I know. That was the other Miss Debbie. She was from a previous season. She was interesting, to say the least. She got a house full of little stuff that you would find at Chuck E. Cheese that you get as a prize when you don't have many tickets to redeem. I was thinking that this looked like something I could win at Dave and Buster's. You ain't right, though. She said this is what you get at Chuck E. Cheese when your kid not good at the games. You ain't right, Shanny. His tiny table in his little apartment is screaming bachelor bad. I've barely touched the woman in the last 10 years. Looked like he'd be rolling around on roller skates and stuff and is in LA living the life, but not really living the life, if that makes sense. Shetty said, tell me about it, girl, because sometimes I want to kick my son out of here. Leave my friend alone. Leave him alone. Let Tariq stay in there. Leave him alone. Now, sometimes I want to put him out. Lord help him. Hi, y'all. We are going to get into the next couple. And I'm not feeling well. I'm doing the best I can, so my apologies. The next people we're going to discuss is Marissa and Edward. Honestly, not much happened, but Marissa's ex-husband and the father of her children comes by. Michael, he was cool. I liked Michael a lot, actually. It seems like they're done with each other. It does seem like Marissa and Michael are not going to get back together. And as I talked, I could kind of see how they could get divorced. We do learn that the way that Michael learned that Marissa was in a relationship is because her kids were eavesdropping. She hadn't even told them yet, and they told their dad. And he pretty much has the idea of as long as his kids are good, he's good and doesn't care about the dude. He didn't seem threatened. He didn't give the I still want my baby mama, that's always going to be my wife energy. He didn't give that. He really gave like he just cares about his kids and that he might care about her off the strength of their kids. And something he mentioned that was important was he says that Marissa came from money. Even though she's a CEO, she was raised from parents in an affluent family. So she's grown up rich. She's always been rich. He mentions the house that they're in at the moment that they're filming the scene was worth more than $1 million. And he says that he was mistreated by her family because they didn't view him as good enough. And he's curious how her family is going to treat him. But he keeps reiterating that as long as his boys are comfortable, he is okay. Here's the thing. I feel like Marissa and Michael are great parents. You could tell that they put their children first, but I feel like they both are almost too good. Like the more they speak about their boys being comfortable, I feel like they're almost going to talk into existence their sons not being comfortable with Edward. Like, teach your son, he's still an adult. You got to respect authority, but he can never replace your father. Like, that's all you have to say. At the end of the day, the kids are in school most of the time. And then the kids are also with their dad 50% of the time. So I'm sure these boys will be fine. But if it was this much of a concern, maybe you should have found a way to sponsor him and give him his own apartment instead of living with you and your kids, especially if you're affluent and have the money. But she heads to the airport to pick Edward up in New York City. They meet and see each other. It was very sweet how they greeted each other, but she does have nerves about letting go of what she calls the strong single woman experience. I can understand that if you're independent for so long, especially the older we get, you get comfortable with stuff. I wouldn't want to, even at 34, if I ended up single, I wouldn't want to just move somebody in my house and have my shit disrupted. Like, no, it's got to be the right person in the right way. So I understand that. But Marissa and him do okay. She gives him a key to the house, even though everything is digital entry. And they go about their time. We will see more with them next week. I'm going to get into the comments because not much happened with them. If you guys feel any way about Marissa and them, feel free to comment it. Let me know what parts you felt were interesting. And let me know if how y'all felt about Michael, because I did not mind him. Shani said, Brother Joe, can you bring my twin some tea? Soothe her throat while she's talking on this live, giving us entertainment. He actually has given me a beverage on the side of here. The problem, you know what? Actually, the problem is I should probably drink what the hell he gave me. Because he sure did bring me something. And I totally ignored it. I love that Shani knows he's here, though, because that man is always nearby. Shani said, I like the ex-husband. He was very sensible. He want to have a talk with homeboy when he get there, which is good. And that should have happened before, but better late than never. Good point. I do feel like Edward and Michael should have spoken, like, even on a FaceTime before he arrived. Because now it's going to be like the boys' first time seeing him, his first time seeing them. But, I mean, he can do what Marissa preps him for, but Marissa's already made it clear that if anything goes wrong or her kids aren't comfortable, like she's going to prioritize them and say F the relationship. Like I kind of feel like Marissa's getting her fun out. I feel like she might have a feeling that her kids are not going to be okay with this. And yeah, so we'll see. We will see. Our alcoholic OCD chick who's homeless, Miss Katie with the C, not a K. Katie and Josh are packing up after her hangover, but after her Welcome to America party that she threw for Josh at her favorite bar that she frequents with all of the men that she slept with or made out with. Men and women. This lady is a drunk, y'all. I'm not trying to be mean. I'm not trying to attack her. I hope she gets the health. But Katie, to me, got an alcohol problem. Let me tell you why. She don't know how to stop drinking. She said to us, yeah, me and Josh have problems because I get drunk and then I make out with people. I can't really control it. Then that means you stop drinking. If anything I put in my body makes me react or behave in a way that I don't remember, can't control, and do not like, I'm going to cut it out of my life. If when you get drunk, you cheat on your man, then don't get drunk. Hell, don't drink. I don't understand Katie. And then I feel like she uses, and I work in mental health, so I can say this shit. I feel like she uses her mental health diagnosis of OCD as a shield and as a way to deflect from being accountable of certain things, like the fact that she has an unhealthy relationship with alcohol. She does. That's what I like to say to people when they can't admit that they're alcoholics. Okay, well, you have an unhealthy relationship with this. And I don't know, for whatever reason, people accept that more than just those verbatim terms, but she has a very unhealthy relationship with alcohol. She drinks too much. Sounds like she got carried away because she's hungover. And she did look like she was fighting for her life. She looked like she was entirely fighting for her life. But she's asking Josh over and over. She's like, did I do too much? Did I hurt anyone? Did I kiss anyone? I don't remember much. Baby, the only time you need to be drinking to where you don't remember is if you are on vacation somewhere like Las Vegas, New Orleans, Atlantic City. Okay? You don't need to just be drinking to points where you can't remember regularly. That's crazy. No one should drink to that point. Like, it's okay when you get drunk to take a pause, put some bread in your belly if you got to, and then wait, sober up a little bit, then drink a little more. But she obviously has something fucking wrong with her. She says that she wakes up stressed out often because she's this. I don't even know how to work this. Katie tells the confessional and the camera that part of the reason she was asking Josh and checking so much if she did anything she'll regret is because when she drinks, she hates the next morning because she wakes up stressed out and anxious about what she could have done to other people. And she says she says it's an extremely rough feeling and it's something extremely difficult for her to go through. Then stop drinking. I don't want to attack this girl, but if every time you drink the next morning, you go through actual anxiety, which impacts her, regardless of her own doing, you're actually suffering because you don't know what you do when you like this, then stop drinking. And the fact that someone who would go through that and say that would not stop drinking indicates they have a problem. And TLC loves to film people for that. I hope they offered her help or something, but I kind of feel like Josh, the way that she's drinking and the stuff you're seeing, Josh is just kind of looking at her and it's like, well, you know, we're going to be going to our apartment and you've got to get stable, especially if we're supposed to get married and have a kid. You can't just be partying. And do you know that Katie responded and was like, I'm not worried about that. That's so far in the future. I'm not worried about that right now. The way that you're drinking, can your liver handle a pregnancy? Like the way that you're drinking, if you have a child, are you going to have renal issues and stuff earlier than, you know, likely in life because of this? Like, as a woman, you should always be thinking about what you put in your body, what you do. Yeah, you may not have kids now, but what if you decide you want them? You just gonna drink your body into oblivion? Like, that was a crazy response to give him. That was his way of politely saying, hey, you drink too much. I want to marry you. I want to have a future with you. But the way you're acting is not how I would want my wife or the mother of my child to act. He was actually very creative with his words. However, she didn't see that because she's so hungover and shit-faced. She can't hear nothing that he really has to say. It's unfortunate. It's really unfortunate. But we'll see more of what happens with Katie and Josh. It looks like they're going to be moving into their apartment shortly. But I'm irritated with Katie. I don't know what the fuck TLC was thinking with casting her. But Katie and Josh, y'all could have kept that. I don't think they're going to work at all. Shani, go sit in the corner. Go to the bush and weep, Shani. Okay, twin. Shani said Katie is a slam peg dingbat. Thank you, Rosie. We will be covering the Housewives of Rhode Island after this live. I did put a little bit of a break in between it. So the Housewives of Rhode Island live will start at 4:30 Pacific Standard Time, which is 7:30 Eastern Standard Time. James will be joining me, I believe, for that live. He did say he was going to join. So we will be going over that. But thank you, Rosie, for that term. Shani said Katie and Kelsey from Rhode Island need to share that banner across their body. Oh, Lord. Shani said, I think she was scared she was going to wake up with a strange you know what in her mouth. That's my thing. As a woman, it's so unsafe for us to go around drinking to points where we don't remember and have to ask other people like, yo, what did I do? Did I do anything crazy? Also, this man is on a K1 visa with you. If you love this man and trust him enough to live with you, then trust that if you get pissed drunk around him, maybe he'll look out for you and make sure you don't do those things. I know if I were to be pissed drunk around Mr. Best, that he would probably be on me like white on rice, but I know I wouldn't have to wake up and be like, what did I do? Did I do this? Because he wouldn't let my ass. Like, so Katie obviously has a lack of trust and true love for Josh. I think that showed it. Y'all might think I'm reaching, but I also think she definitely got some issues, child. She definitely got some issues. Shani said, do we know if she is on medication for her SC or for her OCD while she is doing all this drinking? That is a very good question. People with OCD, some are prescribed medications, other do different forms of therapies and things like that. A lot of people do the combination of medication with therapies, but a lot of medications that are for what we call antipsychotics, things like antidepressants, things that help you sleep, things that, you know, help you feel better in the mind, benzodiazepines, things like that. A lot of them you're not supposed to drink or do drugs on. A lot of people do it anyway. Like Erica Jane on Housewives of Beverly Hills, who was drinking with Lexapro, and y'all see it made her kooky. Like, you're not supposed to drink on those types of medications. A lot of people still do that. I am not sure about the OCD medications. I have not taken psychopharmacology yet. I take that in September. But as soon as I learn about that, I will let you know, because I'm actually curious about that. That's a good thing to bring up, Shani. Shani said, do she be day drinking also? Yep. Does she wake up drinking and just keep going throughout the day and then at night and just get totally shit-faced? I'm not sure. But if drinking alcohol makes you do stuff that you don't want to do and are not proud of or would not ordinarily do when sober, then stop drinking. Like, I'm a quiet person for the most part outside of YouTube. So like, but if I'm drinking, I'm hella extroverted, a party, like just super extroverted, right? That is okay. But I'm not doing nothing that I would regret or be embarrassed about or wouldn't have the potential to do it sober. Like, that's how she's moving. Katie needs help. Welcome back, James. I don't know if he is watching, but yes, James is back on YouTube. He is back. I believe he'll be live tomorrow to go over Love and Marriage Huntsville and Bell Collective Birmingham, as well as the Housewives of Atlanta. I will be joining him on his channel on those reviews. I will share the lives when they post in case you guys are aware of it. But yes, James is back. He only has a few shows right now, but I know through the summer he'll get a bunch back. Like, he's going to do Heart and Hustle Houston, as well as the regular Bell Collective. And he says he's considering Ready to Love, but I don't know if he's going to do it. The next season of Put a Ring on It, I will be covering. If I cover that, I'm going to see if James will join that. I'm sure he will. But yes, he is back. Thank God. Danny said, or is she on medication for any STD she might have had or have right now? I heard that slip up. What slip up? What did I say? What did I slip up on? I have no clue. Please let me know. But I am glad that James is back. If it's the thank God, I'm definitely glad he's back. Y'all, let's get into the next couple, which is our last couple, which is actually Shay and Annabelle. Shay just gives me a hood rat Santa Claus. I don't know. Y'all seen the video of the people in the retirement home slapping? There's like an old guy who looked like Michael Bolton in there slapping. I don't know. Shay gives me that, the old chunky redneck player that he calls himself. Annabelle and him had a good first night together. And I don't understand why Annabelle was dressing him. I was like, this is getting weird. First, she was washing his balls on camera because she don't want to do oh, I did almost say STD instead of OCD. Oh Lord. Lord help my throat. I did almost say that. I did. She might catch an STD though. The way that she be drinking and stuff. But Shay is putting his clothes or getting his clothes dressed. Listen, I love my husband. Every outfit he wore this weekend in New Orleans, I picked out for him and purchased, okay? But I didn't dress him. Mr. Best can put on his own fucking shoes, shirt, and socks. I'm not dressing him. And he washes his own balls. I'm not washing his balls for him or his ass. I think that's a little weird. Now, Annabelle is saying, Filipino woman, she says, in the Philippines, this is how we show care. I'm like, I have a lot of Filipino friends. I live in the Bay Area. We have one of the highest populations of Filipino people in America. My best friend is Filipino. Shout out to Nevin. Love him. I ain't heard nothing about the women washing the ass of nobody that I know or dressing them. Now, they will iron their clothes, lay them out, maybe purchase them and things like that. But to dress this man, baby, you doing way too much. That was weird. That was weird. But I feel like Annabelle is low-key disgusted by him. And so that's why she wants to be the ones to wash his balls. Because what did Shay say? She covered nooks and crannies I didn't even know I had. How good are you washing yourself if you got nooks and crannies that you don't know about? How good are you? You big, funky looking motherfucker. That don't even make sense. Like, I don't think that's cute. Like, you could be a man and rugged and do man things and still take showers daily. I'm just saying. But she dresses him and they leave the hotel to go to his actual house. And Shay is telling Annabelle pretty much that, Allison, which is his daughter that lives next door, that's spoiled as hell, that he takes care of, that says that she doesn't want to feel like she's in competition with his dad's wife. Daughter, you better go read the Bible. You in Kentucky, baby. The Bible says to leave and cleave. He is supposed to put his wife before you, as quiet as kept. That's literally what the Bible won't. And the Torah. And the Quran. What you doing? But his daughter, you could tell, really is a spoiled ass brat. I have zero respect for her. Your daddy is pretty much living your life for you, Miss Allison. There's always those 90-day family members we're going to dislike. Allison is giving somebody that will dislike so much, kind of like I feel about Pedro's sister, Nicole. Allison is definitely giving that. But if you're concerned about Allison giving your wife an attitude, I would check her and be like, don't be giving my girl no attitude. Why are you telling your wife and prepping her like she's going to have to deal with it? Don't sleep on Annabelle, y'all. Filipino women are not afraid to speak up for themselves, and they will read you for filth if they need to. And I love it about them. That's why so many of them are my friends. I fucking love it. So I'm looking at Shay like, you could tell Annabelle what all you want. But if your daughter disrespects Annabelle, Annabelle gives me that she is not a punk and she's not just going to deal with it. And I'm not mad at her. But she does say she worry about meeting the daughter because she talked to her on FaceTime. And she felt like the daughter felt like there was competition. My dad is remarried. I have never even thought in my head, like, oh, I'm going to have to compete with his wife. That's weird. And my dad got remarried while I was like grown. That's weird. And I'm very close to my father. So I don't understand why anybody would feel that way. Like, just from the perspective of someone that is a daddy's girl, like I don't understand that point. The relationship seems unhealthy that Allison and Shay have together. But they pull up to the house and the house is a mess. Now, Shay done cleaned up that house on purpose for Annabelle. And his daughter, who lives next door for some reason, is in his house, even though she got her own fucking house for her badass kids to tear up. That little girl, River, need her ass whooped. If my mama told me to say hello to someone and that person said hello to me and gave me a hug and I turned away and then ran out the door the way River did, I would have got my ass whooped and I wouldn't have got dessert. That's how I grew up. The little baby, of course, was sweet, but Allison's daughter, River, was really, really rude. And Allison's kids was just making a mess. You could tell that she don't really discipline them or nothing like that. Figure it the fuck out. Annabelle is in disbelief at the house because she comes in the house. She said, oh my God, there's stuff everywhere. Dogs jumping up, kids everywhere. And Allison's just in the house. And I would have a problem with that too. If your house is next door, why the fuck are you in mine? Why are you in mine? Where's my privacy? I just feel like Shay is letting his family get away with murder, which I don't understand. So after they see the house, Shay gives her a tour of everything. And he then gifts Annabelle because he had bought her a bunch of clothes in the closet. And then he also bought her like a diamond ring, some jewelry. And the daughter gets jealous and goes, why don't I have a diamond? Bitch, because you're his daughter, not his wife. If you want a diamond, go get a fucking man, but it's going to be hard for you to find another man that's going to want your lazy, fake mothering ass. You have your daddy paying for your children's life and doing everything. Let him be happy. Trifling trollop. I don't understand it. I don't understand it. I don't understand. Like, I don't. I could not stand his daughter. And I wanted so badly to come on the internet and act right. But I don't like that bitch. I just don't. It's giving poor white trash. I said it. Allison is giving that. She definitely is. And she's giving spoiled. And it's like the audacity. If you really love your father, you would never put him in this situation and do all of that. Allison doesn't want her dad to have a woman because she knows that then she's going to have to get off her lazy ass and pay her own bills and raise her own kids. That's what it's giving. Now, Annabelle senses the energy. And then before the daughter leaves, she's like, all right, Dad, can I get some money? When I was 21, sometimes I'd ask my dad for money. And I know for a fact, if I called my dad right now and was like, I don't know what I'm going to do. I can't pay the rent. He would pay my rent. I would never. Even knowing that I could. I feel like my dad has done so much for me. I would never want to just ask him for money. I want him to see, like, be proud of me. I'm financially secure. I'm self-sufficient. I don't have to ask you for money. I'll do all I can before I go to him for money. That's how most kids think. Allison's over here like, I got to keep these bitches away from my daddy because I need everything to come to me. She's a lazy little bitch. She's a grifter little bitch. I'm telling y'all, this lady is problematic. But I don't get the unhealthy relationship. It doesn't make any sense. But shout out to Annabelle. Annabelle says she thinks that Allison is a spoiled little brat and the relationship is not normal and she's not going to be quiet about it. So I am happy to see that somebody has some sense. But the fact that Shay is so willing to take care of her is weird. I kind of need more backstory. And they better touch on this at the tell-all because it looks crazy. Ain't no way. I didn't want you to compete with my dad. Like, what? Girl, what? Who says that? Allison's a dumbass, and now you're on national television and you're about to figure out how dumb you are. TLC, I don't know what you're doing with this season of 90 Day, but half of these people are ratchet. I don't think Shay and Annabelle will make it. Katie and Josh are a joke. Katie needs to be in a detox facility, not on TV. Marissa and Edward, they have a shot, but I feel like Marissa's just having fun and is going to pick fights and look for a reason for things not to last. I don't think Paula and Thomas will last. Debbie and Mito are a joke. Mallory and Rasit may be okay for a little bit, but I don't know if they're going to last in the long run either. I feel like they could have been done better casting this season. And then half of the people live in Alabama. Mallory, what's her name? Ashia. There's another one in Alabama. I'm like, why the whole cast live in Alabama? Were there no other U.S. states available? I'm curious. But let me get the comments, you guys, before we get out of here. Shani says she is dressing him to make sure that his clothes are clean, they fit, and don't smell. Don't forget, less than 24 hours ago, she had to hose his ass down. She just make me think that Shay smells nasty. No, you don't have to dress the brother. He know how to clean himself. I'm sure he knows how to wash his clothes too and make them smell like Downy. Exactly. As she undressed him last night, she saw the streaks in his underwear. That's why she's dressing him. She saw the sweat stains in the armpits of his shirts. Oh, Lord. Not the streaks in his drawers. Annabelle looked like she got mouth and hands. Yes. Annabelle ain't no punk, and I think the daughter's hoping she is. It was whack for the daughter to have that house looking the way that it was when she showed up like that. Shay cleaned his house before he left. The daughter did that on purpose. That little bitch is trying to sabotage. The daughter house is 15 to 20 feet away. Why are your kids not in that house tearing it up, making a mess, and dogs running around? She's That's mean too. How can you say you love your father if this is what you do? Like, this is disgusting. I don't like her behavior, but she about to, I'm sure the 90 Day fans are gonna come at her. They not gonna let her get away with this behavior. They'll come at her. We can't stand family members that act crazy. Little girl, that man impregnated you with those badass kids is the one that you should be buying, that should be buying you a damn ring. She's separated. And honestly, the way Allison acts with Shay's relationship, that's why she can't keep a man. I don't blame that man for getting out. She seems horrible in every way of the word. Allison talking about, oh, Annabelle better not try to compete for me for my dad. No, girl, Allison, you the one competing with Annabelle for your dad. That's just nasty. It makes no sense. I have no respect for her for that. I really don't. I could not stand Allison. I said, Allison, you ain't had your ass whipped correctly. That's just all that is. You just ain't been whooped on right, baby. That's all that is. But y'all, that is it for this episode of 90 Day Fiancé. Let me know how you felt about this episode. Share the live. I may do a pre-record premiere next week for this. I'm not sure yet. Let me know if you guys want to pre-record or if you prefer that I keep 90 Day Fiancé as live reviews. As always, I thank you guys for being here. I'll be live again in about 17 minutes with Watch Your Mouth reviews to go over the latest episode of The Housewives of Rhode Island. But other than that, I hope everybody enjoyed this live. I hope that you guys have the best day and a happy Memorial Day to the family members of people who served as well as the people who served. Shout out to y'all. Hang in there. Let me see this comment. Oh, I don't have any comments. Other than that, y'all, I'll see y'all next time. Adios. Thank you.